The main mistakes women make in messaging a man how to conduct a conversation. In fact, a large part of acquaintances begins online, but it doesn't always develop into communication, doesn't always lead to a date, and doesn't always turn into a relationship. For one simple reason, women sometimes make the mistake of thinking that this will be better. Well, if I behave this way in communication, then the man will be 100% interested, she thinks, and acts a certain number of mistakes, and the man disappears, while the woman remains in her thoughts, wondering what she did wrong, why the man disappeared, and why he is not interested. So, in communication with a man in messaging, there are certain rules that we will discuss in this video. Rules that will help you express yourself in messaging, because communication in messaging is not live communication. It is harder to understand you, you are not visible, and the intonations attributed to you are often inferred even from punctuation marks and certain emojis. So all the secrets of messaging will be revealed in this video. But before we begin, I ask you to click the subscribe button and like this video so that it gets recommended and more people can see it. So, let's get started. The first main mistake women make is having no sense of humor. And it's not necessary to be some kind of clown to entertain the man, no. But communication should be light and the style should be relaxed. Yes, if you can joke about certain topics, that's great. But if you are all seriousness, if even when you write you are tense, it all comes through the text and the man understands that it might be too difficult to communicate with you. Lightness and a relaxed style make a man enjoy spending time with you. That is, he feels all of this. So, if you are very serious in messaging, think about how to add lightness to your communication. Next, wrong questions. For example, when communicating online, you ask too many questions about work or, again, about something serious. We all don't really like talking about work. We go out and want to focus on something else because work often involves arguments, stress, and worries. That is, there are many difficulties at work. And in your free time, you want to focus on some pleasures, hobbies, and interests. So find interesting topics for conversation with a man. Find out his hobbies. We all love to talk about what we like. Therefore, if you find a topic that inspires the man, you will have an interesting conversation. Next, only about yourself. If you focus only on yourself and in the messaging it's all about you, and you start burdening the man with your problems, meaning he doesn't know you yet, hasn't seen you, but understands that you are overwhelming him with a too complicated version. He is here to have fun and enjoy himself. Whether your relationship develops further depends only on you. So if you talk too much about yourself and have already shared half of your life, mostly about problems, know that your communication will likely not continue. You are in too much of a hurry. That is, if you are already taking the initiative in this relationship, like inviting him on a date, starting to plan the future, already telling him how many children you will have, be prepared for the fact that, again, your relationship may not work out. A man does not like to be rushed. A man likes to make decisions himself. But when a man is being dragged somewhere, he will resist in every way and simply, let's say, avoid such communication, avoid this topic. A man does not want to be led. He wants to lead. Next, interview. If you are essentially conducting some kind of interview where all your questions expect answers of yes, no, or you are asking about his entire biography, then he will find it uninteresting to communicate with you, responding yes, no. A man switches to communicating with someone else where he finds it interesting. Therefore, you shouldn't conduct an interview. It's better to talk about something interesting for you, interesting for the man. That is where communication begins, where you are trying to tell each other something. Sometimes women shift the responsibility for communication onto the man, meaning he has to write. Yes, he may write for some time, indicating he is interested. You may have appealed to him through your photos or appearance, but after the first, second, or third time, he takes on the responsibility for this communication and then realizes that he is simply not interested. Therefore, it is necessary to have a balance so that the man does not feel that everything depends solely on him. Next, grammatical errors. If you understand that literacy is not your strong suit, you can still write the text somewhere in Google first to check it for errors. For a man, literacy is very important, and it often catches his eye. Certain mistakes. And if you make several mistakes in the simplest words, then the man may stop communicating, because the man understands that the woman is illiterate. This is very important to him. A man wants to admire his future girlfriend. That is, if you are communicating, he is already considering you for the future in terms of a relationship, and your illiteracy may play a cruel joke on you. Next, dryness in communication. That is, if you respond dryly, briefly, as if you are being interviewed, again, a man may think that he is not interesting to you, and that communication will not be enjoyable for him either. Use some emojis. Try to diversify your communication to make it interesting for both you and him. When you engage with interest in communication, it is felt. It can be felt even from a distance, even through messaging. Next, insistence. There must be a balance between dryness and insistence. Women often go too far. They either play the role of, let's say, untouchables, responding dryly to pique his interest, to make him worry, or on the contrary, she is overly insistent. She writes and writes and writes, and he already wants to brush her off like an annoying fly, meaning he is already tired of her. If a woman finds the right balance between dryness and insistence, then she is successful in communication. Next, aimless chatter. With a man, messaging just for the sake of messaging will not work. If you can chat aimlessly with a girlfriend somewhere, that's fine, but with a man, he will simply stop messaging you after a while. Therefore, there should always be a purpose. Men need to understand that even messaging should have a certain goal. Next, making him wait too long for a response. Again, let him experience those feminine tricks. Let him feel bored. Let him wonder why I am not responding quickly. However, all these games and rules lead to nothing good. He will simply switch to communicating with someone else who responds quickly. And yes, the essence of the conversation is lost. If you are messaging and the person opens up to you writing about something, they want a reaction in response. Then message. By message, a certain conversation takes shape. But if you remain silent, the thread of the conversation breaks. And then it becomes difficult to catch that thread again. Therefore, you shouldn't play any games if you want to communicate and are interested. Communicate. There's no need to resort to any manipulations to make the man think or worry about something. It is necessary to show the man that you are interested in the conversation, because he might think that you are absolutely not interested in it and simply disappear. Lastly, writing after midnight. If you are not yet in a relationship with this man and your communication is just starting, and you only write. After midnight, he might think something is off about you. That is, to draw conclusions about you that you may not actually have. In other words, to think of you not very positively. Why does she only write after midnight? This formed opinion he has about you can play a nasty trick on you. That's all for this video. It was me, Alisa Vardomska. I hope for your likes and subscriptions. Write in the comments what you would like to discuss in my new videos. Don't forget to hit the bell, and goodbye to everyone.